There's no escape from saving thousands. Save yourself during October Fright Fest at Franklin-Sussex Automall. Your spirits will rise with savings up to $10,000 off all new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams.
It's your choice. Get a new 2018 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4, just $169 a month. Run, Bill, run! Hide behind that 2017 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Express 4x4, also just $169 a month.
Plus, meet Butch Patrick on Saturday the 14th. Go to Route 23 in Sussex.
Jeep Celebration Event Ram Power Days.
Welcome back to the Franklin-Sussex Automall, Franklin-Sussex Hyundai Sports Beat. Time to make our picks for Week 6 of the football season. We're past the halfway point. Everyone gets 10 games. If you make the states or a regional crossover, no more consolation games. They're called regional crossovers. Got to be politically correct. So we're going to talk about Week 6, and now it's time in earnest where people start checking the PowerPoints, checking out all the scenarios, because it's the first 8 weeks, seven best results. All right, we're going to start off Friday night. Vernon 0-5 came so close last weekend. They lost to Mendham 21-14. Dan Fedorko, who bounced back from an injury against Newton, had the best day of the season, 10 of 21 for 128 yards and a touchdown. Kevin Parisi had a touchdown catch. He also had 4 catches. Mike Stefkovich, Jimmy Cahart played well. Matt Rapizardi, Eric Gaines, but they lost 21-14 to Mendham. They're 0-5. They're going to go down and play Mount Olive in a crossover. Mount Olive, after coming flying out of the gate, they had that huge win against High Point. Well, they've lost to Hackettstown. They've lost to Westmore since. So they have 2 losses. They come in with a record of 3-2. Liam Anderson, their quarterback, is a speed demon. Lance Johnson can run the ball, catch the ball. Rob Bakovic, Anthony DeJoseph, tough between the tackles. Evan Kelson. I just think Mount Olive is going to be a little bit too much for the Vikings this week, so they'll get the win. Patriot Red Division game. Montville 1-4, 1-3 in the division. They're coming off a 38-7 loss to Caldwell, who's right now tied with Lenape Valley in North 2 Group 2 as far as PowerPoints. They will go to Jefferson, 3-2 Jefferson. They just lost to Par Hills. A lot of turnovers in that game for Jefferson. One was taken back for a pick 6. It was tied at 7, then Par Hills and their great quarterback, Nick Verducci, and their defense kind of took over. But they're going to need a big game from Anthony Johnson, a quarterback, and then they have so many weapons. Paul Monaco, Joe Patelli, Drew Benfatti, who's arguably their best overall player. And then running the ball, Justin Ranzio, Brandon Hayde, and also Monaco runs the ball as well. And it's going to be the guys on the defense that have to step it up. Nick Miller's been doing great all year at linebacker. Also Brandon Hayde, and then you also have Matt D'Alessio. This is a good Jefferson team. It's their homecoming. They're going to bounce back. They're going to beat Montville. Montville has a nice quarterback in Mike Burke. Dean Nish is a good receiver. Anthony Manor, a good 2-way player. But Jefferson's going to be too much. They need this win because Montville's a Group 3. They'll get some nice PowerPoints. If Jefferson wants to make the states in the rugged North 1 Group 3, they need to beat Montville tonight. And then hope Montville gets a couple more wins down the road. So Jefferson needs that win. Our next game, Newton 5-0, coming off a big win, 47-14 over Lakeland. In their division, they were undefeated in their division. This is a crossover. The defense was great last week against the Lancers. Ryan Kaiser, Will Larson, Troy Babcock, Jonathan Van Ness, Luke Young, who plays quarterback and is also in the secondary. Up front, Jimmy Harden, Nick Brigante at linebacker, Dante North. I mean, this is a very tough defense. We talk about the offense because they do score a lot of points, but that defense is just as tough. Offensively, Jace Kramer came back. Still was a little gimpy towards the end of the game, but he was feeling great after that big win. 19 carries, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a 64-yarder to get them going on their second possession. Larson, 7 carries for 82 yards. What's so good about this running attack? Kramer is very patient. And I'm going to go back to the early 90s, some of the older fans. Remember Mike Marciano from Jefferson? He had the all-time SEL record for a while. It was broken by a couple of guys. I know it ended up being Joe Martin, still has the record. But he was so patient following his blockers. In that wing tee, you watch Chase Kramer. He follows Dante North. He follows Wyatt McCarthy and the pulling guard, whoever it is, which side they're going. Justin Semelian possibly. And he's just patient and follows his block. And on that touchdown, he was sprung by a big block from Luke Young, the quarterback downfield. So they go to Chatham. Chatham's 1-4. They beat Ferris 37-6. They've gone through a bunch of quarterbacks. Ray Lonergan was their first quarterback. He got hurt on opening day. Max Schelling is a pretty good player for them. 4 touchdowns on the season. Colin Petrillo has been playing quarterback. Christian Cutia. These kids all play lacrosse. They're all good athletes. But Newton might have a little bit of a down, suffer a little bit of a letdown. Chatham's going to be home. They'll be fired up. The Braves still get the win. Our next game is 1-4 Sussex Tech. We'll host 3-2 Keansburg, also homecoming on Saturday for the Mustangs. Keansburg, they can score points. They're coming off a 51-43 win over Point Pleasant Beach. That's a lot of points. Daniel Vital, 15-20 for 387 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jashawn Martin, 7 receptions, 186 yards, 2 TDs. So they can move the ball. So the Mustangs played great defense last week. They were up 7-0 at half. Great touchdown catch, Ryan Kincaid from Tyler Crum. But then give Walker Valley credit, they came back with 14 unanswered points and won it. So it's the same kids that we talk about with Tech every week because there's a small squad. They got to go both ways. You got Richie Hoffman, who was banged up a little bit with some cramping because it was really warm on Saturday. He needs to be at his best. Bo Maroney had a big game again on both sides of the ball. He does a lot of good things. Ryan Kincaid showed what he can do offensively. He's also on defense. And Danny Petrasic, Joey Martinez, Kristen Kipp, Dylan Beebe, Dylan Snyder, all these guys have to really pick it up. Ryan Marshall. I think they get the win, folks. Even though Keansburg has 3 wins, Sussex Tech's played some very good teams. I think the Mustangs get the win. And that's a 1 o'clock game on Saturday at Tech. Next game, Verona 1-4 at 2-3 North Warren. NJ.com had a little thing the other day that the best teams with the worst records in the state, and Verona was in there at 1-4. This is a perennial state tournament qualifier. They were Group 1 for many years. Now they're in that rugged North 2, Group 2, which right now doesn't look like they're going to get in. They'd have to run the table and hope for a lot of things to happen. But they're a very good team. They're coming off a tough loss to Glen Ridge, 49-14. They only lost to Madison, 27-20. Tom Sharkey's back. He's their quarterback. He transferred in from Bergen Catholic. He's now eligible for the rest of the season. C.J. Lavery, a good player for them, Rod Coppola, and Jake McConaughey. North Warren, 2-3, lost to Levy Valley last week. But the fact that they have 2 wins in their first 5 games is a great job by Gino Fleury and the gang there. Ryan Casey, Joey Wojtek, Danny Palmer, Ryan Walsh, Ryan Durling, and that gang. But I think Verona is going to go in there, and they're going to be okay against North Warren. We'll have to wait a couple weeks for the Patriots maybe to get a win again. And then our last pick here in the first segment, an up-and-down Booton team. They beat Parsippany, who's not bad. They lost to North Warren. They lost to Shabazz. They have some good, talented, skilled kids. Corey Dempster's a threat to go to the house every time he touches the ball. Jason Earle's a good runner. Vincenzo Ventricelli, very tough between the tackles. He's a good defensive player, too. Trey Cabellar, their good quarterback. Brian Gallagher, a good coach. They're the defending champs of the division, the National White. They're going to play Opakon, who's 0-5. They lost to Kittatinny 46-0. Danny Farina at quarterback, Jason Kramer, Gavin Farazano, Armando Santiago will carry the running load. But the defense is going to have to step up. Curtis Matheson's had a good year all year. Zach Bonilla, Santiago, and Zach Kennedy. You know what? I'm going to go with Opakon getting their first win. How about that? Mike Michelle is going to pull the upset, beat Booton on homecoming, 7 o'clock on Friday, and H-Town will be hopping. So go get them, go Chiefs. That'll be the last pick of this segment. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the games on tap for this weekend, right after these messages, here on Channel 10 and MugsMedia.com.
There's no escape from saving thousands. Save yourself during October Fright Fest at Franklin-Sussex Automall. Your spirits will rise with savings up to $10,000 off all new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams.
It's your choice. Get a new 2018 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4, just $169 a month. Run, Bill, run! Hide behind that 2017 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Express 4x4, also just $169 a month.
Plus, meet Butch Patrick on Saturday the 14th. Go to Route 23 in Sussex.
Jeep Celebration Event Ram Power Days.
Sussex County Sheriff's Crime Stoppers is a nonprofit organization that encourages cooperation between the citizens of Sussex County and the Sussex County Sheriff's Department. If you have information relating to a crime or criminal activity in Sussex County, please contact us. If your tip leads to an arrest, you could receive a reward of up to $1,000. Contact us at 973-300-CRIME or through our website at www.sussexcountysheriff.com. Thank you.
This message made possible by D&H Risk Solutions. For more information, go to risksolutions.com. Farmstead Golf and Country Club is the perfect place to host your event. Weddings, christenings, baby and bridal showers, and sports banquets. The staff at Farmstead will make your day a special one. The banquet facility overlooks their beautiful 27-hole golf course. Farmstead Golf and Country Club can also host your charity golf event. For more information on the Farmstead banquet facilities or to book your tea time, call 383-1666. Farmstead Golf and Country Club, located on Lawrence Road in Lafayette. Visit their website at farmsteadgolf.com.
You know you love pizza and Italian food. Dominic's Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant has got you covered from one end of the county to the other with 3 great locations. Dominic's, East Clinton Street in Newton, with a brand new dining room. Then there's Dominic's on Munsonhurst Road in Franklin. And the 3rd location is Chesco's, Route 94 South in Newton. All 3 locations offer simply great food. Dominic's in Newton, 383-9330. Dominic's in Franklin, 209-1007. And Chesco's, 383-2840.
Party time or work time? Tri-State Rentals has the right tools and supplies for your next job or party, event, and wedding tents in many sizes, plus all the accessories you need to host that perfect party, including bounce houses, carnival games, and catering supplies. We also rent tools and equipment for any job, big or small, indoor or out. We rent, sell, and service Kubota tractors. Planning your next job or event just got easier. Visit Tri-State Rentals online at tristaterentals.com or visit our showroom, 105 Sparta Avenue, Newton.
Commitment to student success is what sets Sussex County Community College apart. Turn your passion into a career and learn from professors who are in the field and rich with experience. Imagine an education with endless possibilities and a campus full of life. Choose a degree or certificate that speaks to your inner self but doesn't have a lasting impact on your finances. Visit our open house on October 14th so that you can get started on a great education. Sussex County Community College. Start here, go anywhere.
Pop, 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 money, money. Pop, 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 money, money, money. Use your phone to pay your friends. You can even pay the rent. Out to dinner, pay your buddy. Use your phone to pop your money. Lakeland Banks, pop money, money. Pop, 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 money, money, money. Pay the sitter, send a gift. It's real easy, you get my drift? You don't need checks, you don't need cash. Use pop money, it's so fast.
Lakeland Banks Pop Money, the easy way to pay people. Pop to it.
Pop, pop, pop.
Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, specializing in public entity risk management, loss control, and self-insured alternatives. Put your trust in Arthur J. Gallagher locally by contacting George Moorville, who served Sussex County schools and municipalities for over 40 years. Arthur J. Gallagher and George Moorville support Sussex County athletes and charities. Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, business without barriers. For more information, call George Moorville at 973-383-3110.
Eastern Propane remains dedicated to our founding principles of personalized service, quality products, and exceptional technical expertise. We offer comprehensive, single-source solutions including the planning, design, installation, and ongoing maintenance of your propane gas systems and appliances. Our friendly delivery technicians provide you with safe and efficient deliveries, ensuring uninterrupted propane service. Whether your needs are large or small, Eastern Propane offers more ways to serve you better.
Are you looking for something new out of your grocery shopping experience? Sussex Meatpacking is here to help. For over 50 years, we've been bringing Sussex County the finest in meats and poultry. We are your hometown butcher shop with a full-service deli, fresh cut meats daily, and a kitchen for all your catering needs. We also carry imported groceries, a large line of frozen products, including seafood. All the food you see here was made in our very own kitchen. So come on by or check us out online to see what Sussex Meatpacking can do for you.
United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. Welcome back to the Franklin-Sussex Automall, Franklin-Sussex Hyundai Sports Beat. We're picking our games for Week 6 of the high school football season. It's when everyone starts to check who's next to them in the PowerPoints, who's the top, who's below, who they playing. This is where it gets real interesting, as state tournament time, believe it or not, folks, is only about a month away. That's insane. Just seems like we were just doing the preseason stories. All right, Friday night, 6:30 at Lakeland, down in Wanacue. Walker Valley coming off their first win, 14-7 over Sussex Tech. An emotional day. They honored Tommy Bach that day. Tommy died, unfortunately, in a skateboard accident. He played football at Tech. He wrestled at Walkill and played youth lacrosse in Vernon. Everyone wore white. It was a pretty touching moment at the end of the game where both teams got together, face to face, took a knee, and had a moment of silence for Tommy, and they raised money for a scholarship in his name. So So great day at Sussex Tech. Great job by both schools. Darryl Jones at Wallkill Valley, Brad Zakowitz at Sussex Tech, and the corresponding administrators. It was an emotional day at Tech. Big day for Justin Rivera. He rushed for over 109 yards. He had a good day, but Alex Mastriani, the sophomore quarterback, he makes them go. He had both touchdowns, one with a beautiful quarterback draw. He can throw the ball. When he does, he looks for Dylan Harlos out of the backfield. And his brother Pete is back. Once he gets back healthy, they might have a little simpatico going on, throwing the ball. But the guys up front did a nice job getting the 100-yard game. Kyle Berry, Brody McDonald, Ryan McGuire, guys like that. And then defensively, Cole Weekly really underrated at linebacker for them in the inside. Jake Lonsky, Ryan Nugent, all do a nice job. Evan Fainer in the secondary. I like Arian Zaku. He's undersized. We talked about him last week. They put him at defensive line. He just shoots gaps and does a nice job. And then the big play of the game for Sussex Tech, Kyle Berry. Sussex Tech's driving to possibly tie or maybe go for two. I know the coaches, Brian Stonworth, was probably thinking about going for two and for win. But on third down, they got sacked. I think it was third or fourth down. He had Tyler Crum get sacked, Kyle Berry with the strip and the recovery. Big win for Wallkill Valley. They're going to go down and play a very angry Lakeland team. Lakeland got manned up and beat physically, although they're much larger. Lakeland, you look at their offensive defensive line, they're huge. They all average about 260. All big guys. But the Newton line did a great job last week, and we talked about that after the game. Mayhood, Semelian, DeLuca, Summers, and they just did a great job against that big line. Wallkill's going to need the same type of effort. Mark Fajaro, they like to spread it out. He can run the ball, he can throw it. When he throws it, he likes to go to Mike McKay or Michael Canzone. When they run it, Kelvin Gonzalez is a tough guy between the tackles. And as I said, that kid Jake Harkey, 6'6", 330. Wallkill's going to give them fits, but I think the Lancers are going to bounce back and get the win. Our next game, 2-3 Roxbury, will go to Sparta, 5-0, Saturday at 1 o'clock at Sparta. Always a good rivalry between these two schools. Sparta last year, though, went down to Roxbury and handled them pretty easily. Roxbury having an up-and-down year. They're coming off a 10-7 loss to Knowles. Michael Rumis, Evan Vasquez, and Connor Mahoney, nice players for them. They played some tough teams. They played Warren Hills, and they lost to them, as we said. And they lost, not Warren Hills, Wayne Hills, lost to them. Played Pascack. They're a tough team. So they're better than 2-3. Cosmo LaRusso is one of the best around. Great coach. Sparta 5-0. They ran right past West Milford as we thought they would, 44-14. But this is a big game for Sparta for power points. Roxbury's a group 4. They can get big power points because Sparta right now, even though they're 5-0, are behind Riverdale, Demorest, and Ramapo. So 5-0, and they're right now number 4 seed. So they can pick up big power points against Roxbury, hope the Gales win some games down the road. And Anthony Broccoletti continued his great year, 20 of 30 for 293 yards last week. Will Cisco, 5 catches for 91 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Eric Castorina, 7 catches for 72. And then when they run the ball, because they spread it, Thomas Agudo gets great blocking, and he's a terrific runner. 20 carries for 117 yards and 4 touchdowns. And it's the guys up front we talk about. Robbie Gannott, Ben Davis, Kevin Carpenter, Tyler Lewis, Jason Giartano, Tommy Ferrara, the big kid at tight end, all do a nice job. Defensively, they're solid with almost the same guys, including Mike Candelaro, who's had a good year. Ben Davis had a big game last week. And, and their kicker, Vinny DeSimone, has done a nice job this year. He's had a lot of practice kicking extra points, and he knocks almost all of them through. Sparta gets a big win against Roxbury. Our next game is Friday night at Lenape Valley, and this is a big division game in the American Red. Hackettstown 3-2, coming off a loss to Mount Olive. They've lost 2 in a row. They lost to Mount Olive, and they lost to Lakeland. So the Tigers are going to be angry. Coach C.J. Robinson has done a great job at that program. They're in the hunt for North 2 Group 2. They might see Lenape Valley in the States. They played a couple of years ago in the States. Anthony Caputo runs their offense, does a nice job. Christian Masiak, Mark McCauley do a nice job. Defensively, Max Cash, Joe Andis, they do a good job defensively for the Tigers. They need to get this win. The Tigers are almost in a must-win because 3 losses will not get you in North 2 Group 2. When you have Mountain Lakes, Lenape Valley, Rutherford, Caldwell's on top of that section. So this is a big game for both. Lenape needs to get that win too, because if they end up with the cutoff at 6-2, they might be on the road or a very low seed. So a big game for Lenape Valley. They're coming off the win over North Warren. Brendan Brady's been very solid, 10 carries for 122 yards. Cole Robertson has come in and done a nice job, 10 for 121. Troy DuPont, great two-way player. He had 8 carries for 96 yards in the win. When Craig Swanson throws the ball, Jack Varian's a good receiver, as is Marshall Kellenberger. Andrew Calley at the tight end position with that big line. I think, even though they've had some great games over the years, Hackensack and Lenape Valley, crazy games, I think Lenape Valley gets the win and keeps in the hunt for getting a top 1 or 2 seed in North 2 Group 2. Then we got Kittatinny and High Point, our game of the week here in Sussex County. Kittatinny 3-2. They beat Opakon 46-0 last week. They've won 2 in a row. They're over 500. They got themselves back into the playoff picture. They're on the outside looking in now, but they would play High Point, who's a Group 2. Both of them fighting. They're both kind of near each other PowerPoint-wise on the outside looking in North 1 Group 2. But, you know, this is a big game for both. Kittatinny really starting to pick it up. The Mafaro brothers, we say it every week, they're just a nightmare to stop. Zach last week, 12 carries, 156 yards. Jake, 13 carries, 110 yards. Jake is the leader on defense as well. And I want to give some props to the guys up front for Kittatinny, not big, but got the job done. Austin Van Gordon, Sam Baum, Derek Michaelman, Chris Latero, and Brandon Guyette all did a nice job. Justin Montefiore, the tight end there. But they're going to need to do a good job this week, that group, against a team from High Point that's also 3-2. And they lost to Morris Hills 32-6. This is a must-win for the High Point Wildcats as well if they want to keep their state tournament hopes alive. They're going to need big games out of that flexbone offense. It's going to be a game of ball control and keep away. Neither team really loved to throw the ball, so each team is going to want to do long, methodical drives, keep the ball away. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a pretty low-scoring game. But Jake Lazinski at quarterback, Chad Muselli, right up the middle. He's tough between the tackles. Jake Phillip on the speed on the side. Travis Talamay, Davis Dvorak has done a nice job. Defensively, last week Matt Carter had a pretty good game. Storm Goralski. Then you got Ryan McCarrick. Justin Lazinski plays tight end as well and plays linebacker. He needs to have a big game on offense and defense. And the guys up front for High Point on that line, Brandon Labar, Liam Whitaker, Joe Burke, Matt Carter, Eric Fry. They're going to have a good battle. They need to give, allow Lazinski to do what he does, running that flexbone offense. His game's a toss-up. Last year was a close game. It was 21-7, but High Point Punch went in late to make it a 2-touchdown game. I'm just going to go with High Point, folks. The only reason why, because they're home. I know that's not a great reason. I would not be surprised if Kittatinny goes up there and wins, but whoever wins really has a good chance to keep their playoff tournament hopes alive. Whoever loses, I don't know if 5-3 gets you in North 1 Group 2, so should be a great game. And our final game, last week, Pope John, we all knew around here they were good. Well, now the rest of the state does. They shellacked. I could probably think of different other words. What they did to Paramus Catholic after what Paramus Catholic had done to them the last 3 years. I remember the first time they played, Paramus Catholic put up 63. And I remember Brian Carlson said, we're going to learn from this. And Brian went to Paramus Catholic, so he has an emotional tie there. And you know what? Within 3 years, he flipped the script. Amazing job by Brian, his staff, and the kids at Pope John. Samuel Darrell had a big game. He had 5 catches for 93 yards. He had a 65-yard touchdown there. Nico Haranish every week just does a businessman-like job. Goes out there, runs the offense terrifically. He was 10 of 13 for 117 yards. Did a great job. Terrence Jones had 70 yards. Burrell Neal 93 yards and 3 TDs. And the guys up front, Nicky Bello, Aiden Murray, Austin Peterson, Jack Morelli, and Jack Ryan all did a very nice job defensively. They forced 5 turnovers. Chris Rodriguez had a big game. Jadir Charles. Gio Triacarico does a nice job back there. The guys, the linebackers get the glory because they're very good. Greenhagen and Brown, Haronica and Danucci, and rightfully so. But the guys up front, like Louis Montana, did a good job. So they really opened up a lot of eyes. They're 5-0. Now they got the big test, St. Joe's. This is a school they didn't want to play a couple of years ago. They weren't ready. I think they're ready this year. St. Joe's 3-2, coming off a 16-15 win over Don Bosco. Emotional game. Those two schools are embroiled in a bitter recruiting scandal. St. Joe's being accused of recruiting kids from Don Bosco. So that was a big emotional game. Does St. Joe's look past Pope John? If they do, they're crazy. I know Augie Hoffman, the head coach, is not. But kids are kids. Pope John, who's Pope John? Every time we played him in the finals a couple of years ago and put 60 up. It's going to be a great game. Nick Patty's going to Pitt. Matt Alamo's going to Pitt, his favorite receiver. They're big, they're physical. Probably the biggest team Pope has seen this year. It's down there. Isaiah Hopkinson's a good running back. You know, they lost to Bergen 41-30. Beat Delby 48-0, kind of similar to what Pope did. I'm going to go with the Lions, folks. I know it might sound crazy on paper, St. Joe's, you know, the tradition. Pope John's never beaten them as far as I know. Every time I saw them when I was at the newspaper in the States, it was never really a close game. Joe's ran by them. We'll see what Pope John's made of, you know, this weekend. I know from here on out you can say that for every game, but the Paramus Catholic win was huge. I think they use that, and it's going to be a dogfight. Pope John's going to find a way to win down at St. Joe's, shock the world, and possibly should be number 1 or number 2 in the state. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see what the Lions do. So that's our picks for week 6. Hope you enjoyed them, and we'll have more here on the Sports Beat right after these messages here on Channel 10 and MugsMedia.com.